Okay, well, here we are, learning. Last week's chapter was about motivation and emotion and everything, and that directly ties into the elements of learning. What I want to concentrate on is some of the rules about learning. And one of the first rules is the rule of readiness. And that's basically, stating that the basic need of the learner has to be satisfied before he or she is capable of learning. If you're hungry, if you're not feeling well, if, life isn't doing as well as it should, then, what's going to happen is we're just not really ready to learn. And so when we talk about, motivated, if you're not motivated to be in this class and get the benefits that's going to come from it, then you're not going to learn as strongly as someone that finds an interest in the subject matter. So, students best acquire the knowledge, when they see a clear reason for doing so. And this is one of my reasons for having the order of the chapter subjects in the way that I present them, because it's introduction to psychology. We can't master any single element or group of it, and so we had some subjects or parts of psychology that needed to be spoke of before now we get into the elements of learning and all, because we all know how to learn. The after readiness is met, then we have the effect. All learning involves the formation of connections, and connections are strengthened or weakened according to the law of effect. This is simply saying that if we take something that we know and then we can strengthen it through the effect of other elements of, because with that the connections come exercise, and exercising these connections numerous times through proper practice, it strengthens how well we know that which we have learned. Something that is very important in learning is the law of primacy. Primacy is simply stating that which we learn first is most best remembered. And so what's so very important is to teach it right the first time, so that we don't have to come back and undo something. It's like, well, sorry, you learned that the wrong way. Here is the correct way, so now we're going to teach you the correct way. Habits have already been laid, but at least what we can use is the law of intensity, because immediate, exciting, and dramatic learning connected to the real situation teaches best. And that's why I utilize the elements that I do also. I'm trying to make this subject a little bit interesting and all. And then, last is the law of recency. What was most recently learned has a different intensity, because one of the rules of forgetting is overshadowing or disuse. If you don't use it very often, it's going to become forgotten or not well remembered. And then overshadowing is something similar but of different complexity or of different shape and size is going to be learned. So the domains of learning, we have cognitive, objective, affective, and psychomotor. Cognitive domain is the group to classify the levels of thinking, behaviors, thought to be important in the process of learning mentioned earlier. Okay? And the 4 practical learning levels will be rote, understanding, application, and correlation. Rote is that lowest level. That's the monkey see, monkey do. You know, you have nothing to relate to it. It's like assembly line work where you're taught the widget goes in the gizmo and you turn the thingamabob over and you learn how to do that mechanical device of it. And then when we get some understanding of what we're doing with the thingamabob, putting it in the gizmo for the whatchamacallit, you know, comes understanding of it. And then we can put application to it, and we can possibly go to the next step of placing more complicated pieces of structure together. And then lastly is the correlation. We're now understanding A, B, and C correlates to D, E, and F of the alphabet. And we can put then elements of the alphabet together and assemble them into words and correlate the words into phonetic sounds, and then we're able to read. You know, that's one of the ways that we basically read. We learn the ABCs by singing that little tune, which is rote, and then we begin to understand their place in words by having explained to us vowels and nouns and consonants and so forth of the English language or of language itself, and then we put application to it and then we correlate. So anyway, wanted to add this to the elements of learning because you're reading the chapters, and this week we have a discussion. So write about something that you've learned in your life and how you went about the process of being taught that process. All right, so that's about it.